Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're calling in today from, but thanks for joining us today. Dave Miller, president here at eMAM, and this morning I'm going to have Chuck Bulow from our team, our VP Business Development presenting our new things with eMAM Cloud. We're very excited. A system that makes your life easier and gives you tools at your fingertips. For those of in the United States who haven't heard 80 commercials about free software, but we will, also share with you the free options we have. And, we'll be at NAB later this month. Next month, CabSat. The following month, we'll be at Broadcast Asia, and in July, we will be at the AWS Summit in New York. So happy to talk online anytime at your convenience, and hope to see you in person at one of the upcoming shows. September we'll be at IBC. But let me turn it over to my colleague Chuck. We are recording today's session, so we're happy to send you a recording or the slide deck. You can put any questions you have in the chat or the question box. Let me turn it over to Chuck Bulow, and thanks for joining us today.
All right, thanks, Dave. I'm going to advance the slide there. So as David mentioned, we'll talk about our eMAM Cloud offering and all the tools and feature sets that we have for managing media all in the cloud. So the idea really here is to try to make it into a simple process of launching a MAM system. Typically, MAM systems have been very tough to launch, so very expensive and lots of servers and all sorts of things. But now with the cloud and the eMAM Cloud offering for MAM, it is quite easy. So for those of you who are kind of new to eMAM, we are a media management system, and the idea really here is to create workflows in an automated fashion to be able to push media, raw content, finished content, doesn't really matter, into the eMAM system. We take in live content, live streams, live baseband video, of course, files as well, PDFs, Word documents, PowerPoints, and so on. So we manage all that different content and then able to share and organize that media, put permission levels on it so people can see the content they're supposed to see and do what they are supposed to do with that content, all based on permissions. And of course, we can create using Adobe Cloud, Final Cut 10, and then of course also Avid as well. And in collaboration, we can share content, do review and approval process, deliver that content pretty much to anywhere, any type of platform, and then of course archive safely that media for recall at any time. So media management here with eMAM, quite simple, set up process and so on. And of course our teams can help you go through the process, look at what your needs are, and then apply basically the right cloud version of eMAM to your situation. So what we'll do is we'll kind of go through what now is the new normal. What's interesting is things have changed quite dramatically here in the last couple of years. So with this now, how do we kind of succeed in remote access, centralization of media, being able to reach out to all the outlying cities and locations and where people are shooting content or uploading content from, how they edit that content and so on. Not so much from a centralized location at a facility, but maybe all remote and all over the place. So the idea is, how do we succeed in this? So really needing a system that is kind of dynamic, and which is what cloud offers, or eMAM Cloud offers, reducing the procurement costs and delays. Typically, these MAM systems are very expensive to get started. Procurement and purchasing, getting budget approvals and things like that. And we're kind of eliminating that with the eMAM Cloud system. Simplify the deployment for short-term use and long-term use. So what's interesting is if you've got projects, simple projects and so on that are only going to last several months and need just the MAM system to centralize media and manage it, eMAM Cloud is a good offering for that, an option for that as well. And then of course, long-term capabilities of using a MAM system. Now, the idea really too with the cloud-based MAM system too is is failing small. So what we mean by that is you got limited risk, a financial risk on that, and exposure, because a lot of MAM systems, typically you'll go out, you'll think you have what you need, and then you come to find out after spending an awful lot of money that it's not the right solution for you. So the ability with eMAM Cloud, being able to try the system, is we'll show you some of the offers we have here in this presentation. You're able to test out the system to see if it works for you. So quite easy to launch that as well. And then grow as you need. So if you do start out small with maybe one of our archive systems in the cloud to manage media, to share content and so on, and then you want to move more towards a production system to be able to manage content, manage projects and things like that, it's quite easy to expand the system as well. And then understanding the cost through experience. Typically in a cloud, you don't have really solid numbers as far as what the cost would be, but eMAM Cloud does offer you then that understanding of what the total costs are going to be based on maybe usage, storage, and things like that. So again, having the ability to view exactly what you think it's going to cost you based on usage and things that you may need and so on, it's clearly spelled out in the offering for eMAM Cloud. You also need a system that's anti-fragile. So, something that's just not going to break down and fall apart from you based on, say, security levels, being able to look at the situation where you've got content that's encrypted going up, managed into a cloud system that's private. So your security of all your valued content is secure in the storage up in the cloud. Everything that's around it then controls and manage with the eMAM Cloud system. Who gets to see that content and what they get to do with that content, or download the content, or forward the content, or share it. So again, a lot of controls in the eMAM Cloud system for offering that. Also, reduce access and DR risks. So the idea really here is that with the eMAM Cloud system, more so on our custom environment, which we'll talk about here in a second, you're able to kind of manage media in multiple locations. So either in the cloud or local or in multiple facilities and so on. And eMAM does manage that and control that and help with accessibility of the media, but then also the backup of that media as well. And then also, of course, through the cloud systems like AWS and Alibaba, you have the ability to kind of back up all your content, your servers, and so on. So all of it's there. It's all built in without or very limited, IT needs and so on, or resources for that to figure all that out. So easily reconfigured and then rescaled, as I mentioned, with the system, being able to kind of manage what you have, what you need at the time that you start out with. But then you're going to find out and get more comfortable with a system like eMAM Cloud and managing media, and then be able to then rescale it or move it into a much larger environment. So be able to also leverage emerged cloud technology. So the idea with eMAM Cloud as well is we're working with other third-party companies and storage platforms, archive platforms, cloud platforms, and so on, to utilize a lot of their technology and build that in as an automated portion of eMAM to be able to manage all your media, put it into maybe a lower cost environment, storage environment, to save money as well. Also moving, the systems that you currently have and tools in the small steps and so on into the cloud, that's also a possibility here as well. So if you start out small with the eMAM Cloud, you start moving some of the tools and assets and things that you have currently local, and then starting moving that quite easily up to the cloud, and then eventually get up and running in the cloud fully. And then, of course, in all of your employees, editors, producers, whoever's managing the content can then be able to find the content and then, of course, distribute the content from there. So quite easy to kind of piecemeal that up into the cloud. And also, looking at something that's kind of consumer off-the-shelf software and hardware. With the eMAM system, the majority of the feature sets are already built in, and there is some configuration with maybe some metadata and things like that, and maybe distribution points or download points and so on, that may be quite simple to configure, but it's ready to go. That's really what's key about eMAM Cloud. You go in, you choose the right feature sets that you need, click go, and away you go, and you're up and running. So quite easy to get things started with eMAM Cloud. And then of course also a system that's interconnected. So universal access with control. So being able to have a centralized location, media's up there, being able to access that media and then control where that goes, what systems it's using, what it ties together, with local cloud, local systems and the cloud as well. eMAM does manage that entire process for you. So over 90 integrated technology partners that we have as well. I'll go through some of those here towards the end. But the idea really here is that we're working with third-party companies like AI technology and storage and archive systems, editing, editing platforms and editing in the cloud and various things like that. That's what's important to realize that eMAM is doing that for you in the background, so then you can utilize that technology in your workflows on a daily basis. So also with the advanced API commands and so on, we can start doing some more integration with other partners, but we could also get into some customization of and meeting some of the needs that you may have with other types of third-party products and task management software, traffic systems, or Slack, for example. If you want to share media with Slack or Teams and things like that, that's all built in or has the capability of working all with our advanced API options and so on that we have. Also ingest and sidecar export XMLs and so on. Bringing in metadata, which is really key, bringing in from other sources, and then of course exporting that XML with metadata information for like YouTube's and other social media platforms, broadcast as well. So has a lot of that already built in. And then expansive configuration. So at any one point in time in the eMAM system, you can add to the license like more users, more server licenses and things like that. You can run and have load balancing, failover and things like that. You can start building on your eMAM system as well. Okay, so why eMAM Cloud? In most cases, our clients that go with eMAM Cloud have limited staff on IT, don't have a lot of access to that, so they need somebody in the background to kind of manage the entire system for them, and all they want to do is be able to then upload their content, store, search, find, preview, and deliver or download their content. That's really what's key, that somebody else is doing that for them with a limited staff for IT. Also be able to launch the system quite quickly and not have a lot of delays and so on the launching, waiting for servers and various things. It's a simple business process, limiting the purchase delays, based on waiting for, excuse me, a server, waiting for software, waiting for something to help work or work with the system. It's all right here in the cloud. It's all ready to go, and you can kind of plug it in. We'll talk about some of the configurations and so on that are options there. And then of course, dipping your toe in the water into the MAM system. Again, very limited exposure on financial exposure on this, limited risk, because if it doesn't work out, like in the cloud system, we'll talk about it on the monthly basis that you can pay for it, or on an annual basis. But on a monthly basis, being able to say, look, it's not working out, therefore I just don't renew the license going forward after that first month or second month or whatever it might be. So again, you have control of that. So it's not like as if the forklifts are going to be pulling in, you now have an anchor of a MAM system that's not working for you. In this case here with eMAM Cloud, limited risk, you're up and running, and see if it all works for you. So these are going to be the options. So I'll talk about all the different options that you have with eMAM Cloud, being able to then simply just upload content, share content, search and preview and share content as an archive, a secure location. And then maybe even moving up to more of a production value where you have remote editors working on all the media that's been uploaded in there. So here are the different options we have. So software as a service, so SaaS. So those of you who don't understand all that kind of acronyms and so on. So software as a service, what that means is that we're managing the system for you. So you go in, you click on, you order you choose one of the next options, which we'll show you in a second, and figure out which one you want. If you're just going to archive and simply just upload media, share it and download it, there's an option for that. And it's just a one-click order, being able to go in, sign up, and away you go. There's also platform as a service, or PaaS, and that is actually a system where we're licensing the software to you to run on your cloud platform. So we provide a template for you to launch the software onto your servers, your storage, and so on that you manage. So a little bit more advanced. Some of the larger customers go this route because they just need the software, the license, and then of course they've already got the servers running in the background, and of course all the storage and everything that they're going to need. So again, it's configurable and easy to set up for those who do understand the cloud and configuration. So, all right, so let's talk about SaaS first. So under SaaS, we have a preserve service and a create service. So if I go with the preserve service, this is one where I'm uploading media. I can tag the media, I can add metadata to the media, I can use AI tagging, shared links to media. It comes with 10 users, and of course you can add more users. You can also add more storage, but it comes with 5 terabytes of archive storage. And then I pay on a monthly basis, roughly around $47.90 per user. Okay, so that's with 10 users going that route. So again, that's more of a upload, archive, and share. Moving over to the creative service, this is adding that, but then we're adding to the preserve. On the create service, it's more for production. So if you're looking to do like Adobe Premiere, After Effects, Photoshop, InDesign, and After Effects, and Illustrator, you have the ability to kind of upload that content, but then actually utilize the panel that's built into the Adobe Creative Cloud panel suite of products. You're able to then find the content, share the content into a project, or bring it into or import into a project, edit that project, and then upload that project or export it back into the eMAM system where somebody else could then check out that project. So it's full project management along with the media management, and then being able to utilize, in both cases, transcoders in the cloud to be able to then encode, create proxies, thumbnails, and then of course also outbound codecs as well that you have. But again, on 10 users there, you start out about $139 per user, roughly there, with 1 terabyte of production storage. And again, in each one of these cases, you can add more. The third option there is more of a custom setup and configuration, which we'll talk about in a minute. So on the cloud service for SaaS, just think of it this way: walking into a car dealership, you're choosing the model, you're choosing the color, you're choosing the leather seats, you get the keys, you drive away. Of course, they got to sign for finance in a bigger number, much smaller here on the eMAM cloud SaaS situation. But again, this is a service managed by eMAM, and then we just go ahead and choose which one you want. You click order, and you're up and running. And that's just how easy it is, so to get it all worked out. Now in the PaaS model, so remember this one is the one we're running our software on your platform. So you lease them from us, or not lease, but subscribe to our license for your platform to run our software on your platform. So there's 2 very similar situations here. So more of an archive platform. Again, if you're looking just to manage content, archive it, tag it with metadata, share links to the proxies and so on, and then of course download that media. That's what you're going to be looking at, is the archive platform for about $38 per month. And of course you're managing the servers, so that's where the additional cost would be for managing your servers. You can move up to the production platform as well. That's where, of course, we're going to be managing the media plus the media or productions and project files and so on. And so you're moving up to about $109 per month on that one. This comes with 10 users as well. And once again, we're just launching onto your platform there. And then lastly, there again, custom work. You're able to kind of build your own platform, connect with your own storage. You may have other types of storage, archive storage, multi-cloud like storage platforms and so on you might be using. So you're able to then reconfigure things. So if you are smart on the cloud side and can set up servers and so on the cloud, that also might be an option for you as well, moving into more of a custom view. And all cases here, again, we can add more to it, add more users, add more storage capabilities. But in this case here, we're using your storage. So that's up to you on how much storage you're going to be using and so on. So again, pass model is just licensing the eMAM software, okay, running on your platform. So again, on the pass model, this platform, you build whatever you're going to build. So the platform is multiple servers, multiple storage locations, multiple archive locations, and so on. eMAM has the ability to kind of manage all of those locations with our software, and then through the pass model, license the software, and then go ahead and build, and we can work on professional services with you to kind of help you build then a custom solution. All right, so here's that special. If you're not sure about eMan Cloud yet, Mr. Bean here says it's free. We are offering a special between now and April 15th and May 15th. If you go ahead and order the eMAM Cloud special, we're going to offer you 2 weeks free on the platform to try it out. So we do some reimbursements and so on. I won't get into too many of the details, but the idea really here is if you choose the archive or the production on the SaaS model, so that's the one we're managing the entire platform, we will set you up with 2 weeks free, and then of course you pay after that, for the full amount and so on, but we will reimburse you for those first 2 weeks and so on if you continue on going forward. On the pass model, all day long is 5 days. First 5 days are free. So you can go up to the system, launch the software, have the first 5 days free, and then of course pay. On the pass model, you have an option for hourly, but then also annually as well for that. But we're going to go over pricing here in a second. So again, the whole concept here is one click and you're up and running. So on the SaaS model, quite quickly, you can be up and running within an hour, having a eMAM system and managing your content. So pass model will take a little bit longer because you're going to be working on configuration. So on the custom side, so getting into situations where you're going to customize maybe the services and so on, where the media is stored and so on, we have the option to work with you together with professional services to help you then build the right eMAM cloud system that works for you guys. So whatever works, whatever the needs are, wherever the media is stored and so on, our team can then be serviced and run and work with you on setting up a complete cloud system that works for you. So just kind of give you an idea, there's the ability then in the AWS cloud to maybe put eMAM in there. The software's running on EC2 servers, S3 storage, and so on. But we have also the ability to manage multiple locations as well. And what we do is we put some services running on a server down locally called app services software, and app node software, sorry, at each of the locations. So when people look at the eMAM cloud and look for media that they're trying to find, they actually will then be able to look across all locations plus up in the cloud. So it offers a lot of flexibility in that case. So again, this is more of a custom build of a platform, but it's also the possibilities that you can use with with the cloud, eMAM cloud. And then on the AWS side, there's so many different services. This is probably hard to read, but the idea is that we can tie in with AWS, eMAM, storage, local facilities with storage, maybe SANs or NASs locally, and then of course connect with the eMAM system in the cloud, make it private, put your own VPC together with whatever type of internet connection you need, public or private VPN connection, gateways, and so on. Utilize their AI services, their transcoding services, and various other services that are available through AWS, and then customize that to work within the eMAM system. That again is more towards that pass model and that custom build, and then utilizing some of the team here at eMAM to work with your team or system integrators to then build a custom environment for you. Okay, so this kind of gives you a breakdown of what it looks like for these different systems. First 2 lines there, the preserve, that was that archive system. Roughly will cost you around $479 a month. And on the creative side, which is moving more into production, you're looking at around $13.99 a month to run that. And then of course there are discounts if you do go annually. You can go and purchase annually. So the more years you purchase in advance, you also get some additional discounts on top of that as well. And then on the pass side, archive, if you want to go hourly, you can, about 55 cents a minute or hourly. And then $1.50 per hour on the production side. And then of course on the annual side there, 4,100 and 11,000, you know, for licensing the software to run on your platform. Okay. All right, so as I promised, these are kind of first few slides or last few slides here. This is all the list of the different third-party products we work with currently. So again, on you know, AWS and Atem and Cinedeck and you know, Drastic, Telestream for some of the transcoding side, AWS Elemental storage. You can see a whole list of different storage platforms that we work with in there as well. Obviously some in the cloud and then some locally as well. And then of course the cloud services that we have, Alibaba's another cloud environment we work with, IBM, Google. If you're looking at editing in the cloud, Teradici or Lucid Link is another one that we work quite well with their storage and so on. And then Zapier is kind of an interesting one where we're utilizing some of their workflow technology to deliver media to, say, social media or Instagram and various things and YouTube and so on. So a lot of options in that Zapier option there as well. And then of course, our artificial intelligence has been a big deal, tagging media, automatically tagging media based on facial recognition, speech to text, annotations and branding and so on. Editing, of course, Adobe, all the main guys there, Final Cut, Avid, and so on. So able to work with that. Broadcast environments. We have a MOS integration to do some news integration with ENPS. I always got to be careful how I say that. Grass Valley, Octopus, and S-News as well, and Tools on Air. And then, of course, on the OT side, OTT side, you know, Brightcove and IBM Cloud and others there that we can deliver media and metadata to as well. So file transfer as well, you know, if you are transferring your data and things, Aspera, File Catalyst, and Signiant, archive platforms, you know, you got a lot of choices there. So to share with that. And then lastly there, Shutterstock. We have an integration with Shutterstock. So if you are using them as a platform, you're able to purchase through Shutterstock and then actually have that show up inside of eMAM automatically, which is kind of nice as well. So with that, I think I'll end it there and then turn it over to Dave to see if we have any questions.
Great, thanks, Chuck. Thanks so much. And you can type your questions in the question chat. First one is, yeah, if you can do real quickly, show the websites. So, you know, where to find us in how it looks from eMAM Cloud in terms of ordering and also in terms of the marketplaces.
Yeah. So I just go to emamcloud.com in there, and then there's the products that are listed here. If I click on this is kind of where I was going through that screenshot there with the SaaS model. If I want to order a SaaS, I can go ahead and do so and sign up. And then under SaaS, I have the ability to go into the marketplace directly with AWS, or I can also purchase directly. So again, just kind of choosing, and then of course on the pass model, you know, choosing which one I want there as well, going right to AWS or ordering from eMAM as well. So that's kind of as simple as it is. And then, you know, once you get into AWS, like if I'm going here and go to the marketplace, that will direct you exactly how to do the purchase. And going through all the different pricing models and different territories and so on, you know, around the world, and then setting up the proper systems and so on that we would connect with there as well.
Okay, thanks, Chuck. And then also the Adobe panels. So how do people get those?
So the Adobe panel is generally through the interface itself. So if I'm going into the system here, once you have your system up and running, you go to this little green button here in the upper right-hand corner, choose Account, choose Apps, and then there will be a app manager here for launching and installing then the local Premiere panels in Photoshop, Illustrator, Media Encoder, Adobe InDesign, and After Effects. And so you just click on which one you want. And then, of course, I don't have a Premiere running right now, but the panel does show up into Adobe Premiere, and away you go.
Great. Okay. And then last is, so in terms of partners and system integrators, how do people find that?
Yeah, so probably the best for us is eMAM Solutions. There we go. So if you go there and then looking at partners, we have a whole laundry list, specifically Dixon Sports, Adobe, Cinedec, Matrox, all the different types of different situations like storage or media, file transfer, editing, and so on. Those are listed there. And then, of course, our integrators around the world that we have. So being able to access them to help with the installation and so on, our configuration of eMAM as well.
Great. Okay. And I think most of the other questions answered. So yeah, if no other questions, let us know if you want a recording of today's session, or if we can answer any of the questions. And you saw how to hit our website. So hopefully we'll see everybody at one of these upcoming shows. If not, happy to talk online at your convenience. And have a great day. Thank you for your time.
Learn more at emamsolutions.com or emamcloud.com.